Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about everything you need to know about the gacha system and everything that you can buy in the shop and stuff that you should never do from resources that you get from using the gacha system. So first, let's talk about how the gacha system works in Wuthering Waves. So you have your certain types of banners. First, you have your called event banner, which is called the character event convene, which is essentially the character raid up banners, where the weapon raid up banner is called the weapon event convene. And the second one is called the standard permanent convene banner, which only has the standard banner 5 stars that you can get currently in the game, as well as a standard weapon banner called the weapon permanent convene, where basically you can only get the weapons from the standard list that you see here. Now let's go into detail how the raid ups work. First, let's talk about the rates of the character banners, because they do work slightly different than the weapon banners. So with the event character banners, the character that is featured on this banner has a slightly more increased chance of dropping when you finally get a 5-star within 80 pulls, which is the max amount of pulls that you need to do to obtain a 5-star. However, there is a chance that you could get the 5-star before you hit 80 pulls. Sometimes it can be at 70, which is pretty much the average amount of pulls that you will need to do to get the 5-star. There are chances that you could be really lucky and get it at around 60 or 50 or even less. That's kind of one of the aspects of the gacha system, where sometimes you can get it very early, which entices you to pull for even more, unless you only want one copy of the character. Once you obtain a 5-star within 80 pulls, there is a 50% chance that it could be the feature raid up character, for example here Jiyan, or it could be one of the 5 standard banner characters that you can get, the same as in the standard banner list. If there is a chance, if the first 5-star you obtain when pulling on a raid up banner happens to be a standard banner character and not the raid up character, then the next 5-star you pull from this raid up banner is guaranteed to beat the raid up character. However, if the first 5-star that you do pull from this banner happens to be the raid up character, then the next 5-star you pull will still have that 50% chance of being the raid up or standard banner character. You will only get the guarantee if you happen to pull a standard banner character before you get the raid up. So to basically guarantee in case you are unlucky, if the first 5-star you obtain is a standard banner character, the max amount to basically guarantee you get the feature rate up is around 160 pulls, which is essentially pulling for 2 5-stars. That amount is typically normal or average for other gacha games, and that is a lot of resources, especially if you are a free-to-play player. So typically for your resources as the asteroid that you gain from playing the game, you definitely want to save it for the raid up banners instead of spending it on the standard banners, both on the character and weapon banners, because typically the raid up characters are going to be the more popular and more stronger characters to come out in the game. Right now, the standard characters feel a little bit more valuable considering that it is the very beginning of the game's release. Typically over time, these characters are going to be overshadowed by new characters, so typically you definitely want to save your premium currency for the character raid up banners that we will get in the future, whether it's Jiyan or the next character that's coming after Jiyan, Yinlin. So that is how the raid ups work for the character banners. Now moving on to the weapon banners, where it's actually kind of surprising how they did the raid ups for the weapons. So basically any weapon that is raid up every time you get a 5-star from this banner is always guaranteed to be the raid up weapon. There is no bullshit where there's a 50% chance you can get a standard banner weapon or you could get the raid up weapon. It's always going to be the raid up weapon regardless, which is actually a pretty nice thing about this game that a lot of gachas don't do, especially like Genshin Impact or like Honkai Star Rail does with their weapon banners. So it's actually pretty nice and actually adds a little bit more value on pulling on the weapon banner as a free-to-play player, because every time you earn a 5-star weapon from the raid up banner, it is always guaranteed to be the feature raid up weapon. But typically, even though it is nice that every 5-star you get is guaranteed to be the one you want, I would still suggest saving your asteroid for the raid up characters we get, considering that there is a chance you might not get the character you want, and they are slightly more valuable, especially if you were to go for the weapon before the character, because who else will you use the weapon for unless you are going to use it for any other 5-star that you have. The same case works for the standard weapon banner as well, where you are given a list of all the standard banner weapons that you choose. You can pick whichever specific one you want, select it, and every time you obtain a 5-star is guaranteed to be the one that you selected. And for both of the weapon banners, it is the same as the guaranteed amount that you need to pull at 80 pulls. So that is how the character and weapon gacha works in Wuthering Waves. Next, let's talk about the kind of stuff that you can buy from this game, that you can buy from the shop. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Luna subscription, which is the monthly subscription thing that you can buy from the shop, where every single day you log in, you can obtain 90 asteroids for a total of 2,700 asteroids in total once you logged in for a whole month straight. As well, when you buy this, you do obtain 300 lunits, which is the premium currency that you can turn into from spending real money. The way you can get this currency is by buying the bundles that you can use real money to buy to get a certain amount of lunite that you want. You can then use this currency to turn into asteroid to obtain any summons that you want on the specific banner that you're wishing on. Typically, a lot of the times when people do spend money to gain the lunite currency, they typically don't ever exchange it for the summons. They typically just use the currency when summoning on the banner, where every time you do summon, it will automatically change it to the summons that you're wishing on. But just in case if you don't want to accidentally spend your currency on the wrong banner, you can exchange it for the specific summon that you want. The lunite currencies that you can buy do come in packs from typically 100 to 50 to 30 to 15 to 5 to $1 packs. With these other packs, they do come with slight bonuses, but with the first purchase that you buy of any of these specific packages, they do come with a double bonus, where if you were to buy the $100 pack the first time, you will get a bonus of 6480 instead of the standard bonus of 1600. But if you were to purchase any of these bundles a second time, it will go to the standard bonuses as you see here. And if you were to use this currency for summons, once you do summon and get like 4-star characters or 4-star weapons or the typical blue 3-star weapons, you do get 2 types of currencies that you can use in the item exchange page. The first currency, which is the more premium currency of the two, is called Afterglow Curl. This currency you can only obtain when obtaining 4-star items, either a character or weapon. With the Afterglow Curl, you can exchange it for any of the specific summons here for the total amount that it costs, or the one thing I actually really like about this is exchange for copies of characters that you have obtained. For example, in this shop for a limited time, you can get Jahan's copy to unlock his sequence once you obtain Jahan one time from the Raid Up banner. This is a very good thing because typically if you were to whale on a character and want to get multiple copies to unlock their sequences, this is a good way of doing that, where you can get a maximum amount of 2. It does cost more than the standard banner characters, as you see here, where the standard ones cost exactly 270, where Jahan I believe costs around 300. Generally, because he is the Raid Up character and is only here available in the shop for a limited time. And also you can buy some copies of 4-star characters from the shop that do rotate every single period. And as well as the premium tuner, where this currency is used to basically unlock the substats of echoes. But typically, since this is the most premium currency that you can attain when wishing on the Raid Up banners, I will heavily suggest you never use these for any of the summons, considering that you can save this up from wishing over time. You can basically save up amount for, if let's say there's a character you want to get multiple copies of him, you can then save this currency to then buy 1 or 2 copies of the Raid Up character that you want. Yes, the Raid Up copy does cost a lot compared to the standard ones. However, considering that this doesn't expire, only the Raid Up character that shows up in the banner does, saving this for the sequences of the character you want is actually more valuable than using this to get more summons, or even use it on the standard banner characters here. Yes, it's only 2 copies, but it is a good way to get multiple copies if you are whaling on a specific character or do want to get their first or second sequence as a free-to-play player. This is a good way of obtaining multiple copies of the Raid Up character that you want. So again, I would suggest never using this to buy the summons, any of the standard banner copies, the 4-star copies, or even this. And the second currency that you can get from summoning, typically from the 3-star weapons, is gonna be the Elysian Coral. This currency is used to buy certain items from this specific tab. It does show nothing because I bought everything because I summoned a lot, but typically the items that you can buy are character and weapon XP, a limited amount exchange of all the 3 summons that you can buy, and other worldly material that you can get from exploring the world but can buy for a certain amount from this tab in the shop. Moving on to the bundles that you can buy from the Wuthering Waves shop. Here you can purchase the monthly subscription as we talked about first in the video. These two bundles called Traveler XP and Sages XP are essentially bundles that you can buy character and weapon XP. This one sells for a limited amount but can buy multiple times. This one you can only buy once but does give you a whole lot more than the previous one. But considering that we are in the beginning of the game, these don't really have that much value and are typically never worth it because you can obtain these resources from certain types of gameplay. Next are the bundles called Gardener's Aid and Blake Bloom's Aid, where these are basically bundles that you can buy weapon or character upgrades. This bundle you can buy up to 2 times and does come with a total of 25 compared to the previous one where you can only buy it once and only comes with 12 of the amount that you can select from the list. And lastly, the final bundle that you can buy is called Blake Bloom's Data Aid, where this one is essentially the material that you can use to unlock the substat attributes that you can get from the 5-star Echo. But the amount that you can buy from this bundle is a total of 150. However, one thing you do have to keep in mind is that since these are used on the 5-star echoes, they are going to take a lot more considering the cost difference from the 3-star and 4-star version of the premium turner. It does seem nice, but I think it's not worth it, especially for the cost that you would need to use to spend on this. And as well, the only other thing you get is some premium echo experience, which is pretty nice but not really valuable to buy this bundle for. I would say this is only for the people that want to whale a lot and definitely want to get as much currency to be more into the late game and unlocking your substats on your 5-star echoes. Generally, a lot of these bundles are never really worth it at all. If you are a player that don't want to use their energy but would like to at least get some of the resources that you will need to use on your character skills or weapon level, then you can buy this one, which is the better one. But generally, any of these bundles are never really worth buying. Next, I'm going to talk about the point shop, where in this one, you can obtain currency from playing a certain type of game mode in the game called Tower of Adversity, where when playing these 2 different modes of this specific gameplay type, where in this mode, you can obtain 2 types of currencies, one called Hazard Record, which is the regular difficulty from this game mode, and also Data Set, which is the currency that you can obtain from playing the harder version of this game mode called Hazard Zone. With the blue currency, you can only buy the items from this tab that is shown here, and with the purple one you can only buy the premium ones that you can buy in this tab here. And lastly, the last thing you can get from the shop are the free bundles, which are called level supply packs. So basically, every time you hit a certain level in the game, you get a free special pack. Some of them come with the standard banner wishes, some of them come with the radar wishes, and some of them even come with the premium tuner currency that you can use to get the subsets on 5-star echoes, which is actually pretty good. For example, this one you get a total of 400, which is like a lot. So that is one of the things that this game does give you in terms of your progression and give you supply packs to help you on your journey. And lastly, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Pioneer Podcast, which is essentially the battle pass for this game. There's 2 versions that you can buy. You can buy the standard version, which costs for a total of $10, or you can buy the special version that costs $20, where essentially you can skip up to 10 levels from the battle pass and get some extra goodies. But generally, you would typically want to buy the $10 version because this gives you a whole lot of resources, and you can attain these rewards at certain levels from completing the certain tasks that it gives you here. Some of them are daily, some of them are weekly, and some of them are seasonal. And the main reward that you can get from the battle pass is a special 4-star weapon of your choice based on all the different types of weapons that are in the game. And that is it for this video on explaining how the gacha works in Wuthering Waves and what kind of stuff that you can buy and stuff you can prioritize from the Wuthering Waves shop. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and found this video very helpful, then definitely leave a like on the video to support it. Subscribe to the channel for more Wuthering Waves content in the future. That's it for today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.